Verbal exploration skills and questioning. Micro skills are the basic foundational skills involved in effective helping relationships. They are the foundational tools on which the success of interventions with clients depend. They help create the necessary conditions from which positive change can take place, and provide the client with a strong therapeutic relationship that is empathetic, understanding, genuine, and accepting. This all creates a safe therapeutic environment that aids in establishing rapport with clients and helping clients reach their goals. So far, we have covered nonverbal aspects of the micro skills. This includes rapport building, which is creating a collaborative, harmonious, and empathetic relationship with clients. This rapport starts at the initial contact and continues throughout the counseling process. Effective rapport is crucial for individuals who are seeking counseling, as this may be the first encounter with a professional counselor, and it may either encourage or discourage the client from seeking counseling in the future or following up in subsequent sessions. Micro skills are a set of verbal and behavioral responses that facilitate the process of counseling and rapport building, regardless of the professional counselor's theoretical orientation. There are basic attending skills, such as eye contact, body language, and tone of voice. And there are other micro skills that build upon these foundational skills, including active listening, questioning, paraphrasing, summarizing, and reflection of feelings. Remember that a lot of communication involves nonverbal behaviors, so attending skills are crucial. Nonverbal attending behaviors communicate a counselor's interest, warmth, and understanding to the client, and this includes eye contact, body position, tone of voice, and even the environment of the room. Your body position should convey to the client your interest and involvement in the process. Face the client and adopt an open, relaxed, and attentive posture. Avoid having distractions in the room. Do not cross your arms or legs, or sit behind a desk or other barrier. You can slightly lean in the upper body towards the client at appropriate moments to show increased interest in the conversation or something important that the client might be communicating in that moment. Let the clients decide the physical distance between you and them by offering to let them arrange chairs or let you know their comfort level and how close you're sitting. Be sure to also take into consideration your own personal space boundaries. Verbal exploration skills include invitations, verbal encouragers, asking questions, paraphrasing, restatement, reflection of feelings, focusing, and summarizing. Invitations are brief statements or questions that are designed to encourage students to begin speaking. Sometimes they're referred to as door openers or leads. Some examples are, what would you like to talk about today? How are things going? Can you tell me more about that? Focusing is a skill that enables the counselor to direct the client's conversational flow into certain areas. It's a micro skill that is relevant to all stages of the counseling process. The skill, however, should be used sparingly because you don't want to limit the client's autonomy about what they want to talk about. An example of focusing would be noticing that the client has mentioned very little about his family after initially making it a point to say that that was one of the reasons that they decided to seek out counseling. The counselor, believing the family is relevant, directs the conversation toward the client's family. Focusing is also an important skill at the beginning of counseling whenever the client comes in and may have multiple problems going on in their life at the same time. It's important that we recap that we heard all of the problems that the client is currently experiencing. However, we help them focus in on one area that they would like to explore at this time. This doesn't mean that you can't revisit the other areas that the client is experiencing, and quite possibly they will come up as you explore a singular area. However, it's important to keep some focus on the session, and so helping a client narrow down to what is the most important thing that they want to address in the current session is a good way to stay on topic. A counselor can encourage a client to talk, open up more freely, and explore issues in greater depth by providing accurate responses through encouraging, paraphrasing, and summarizing. Responding in this way informs the client that the counselor has accurately heard what they have been saying. Encouragers, paraphrases, and summaries are basic to helping a client feel understood. Encouragers, also known as intentional listening, involves fully attending to the client, allowing them to explore their feelings and thoughts more completely. Paraphrasing and summarizing are more active ways of communicating to the client that they have been listened to. Summarizing is also particularly useful to help clients organize their thinking. Encouragers are a variety of verbal and nonverbal ways of prompting clients to continue talking. Nonverbal minimum responses, such as a head nod or positive facial expression, can count as an encourager. Another type of encourager is a verbal minimum response, such as, uh-huh, and I hear what you're saying. Brief invitations to continue, such as, tell me more, can also count as an encourager. To paraphrase, a counselor identifies the most important details of what the client has just said and reflects them back to the client. Paraphrases can be just a few words or 1 to 2 brief sentences. Paraphrasing is not a matter of simply repeating or parroting what the client has stated. Rather, it is capturing the essence of what the client is saying through rephrasing. When the counselor has captured what the client is saying, often the client will say, "That's right," or offer some other form of confirmation. If the client gives feedback that the counselor was not accurate in their paraphrasing, then the counselor can offer the client to explain a little more to create a better understanding. Summaries typically happen at the end of a session, and in summarizing, the counselor attends to verbal and nonverbal comments from the client over a long period of time, typically the entire session, and then pulls together key parts of the extended communication, restating them for the client as accurately as possible to recap what has happened in the session. It's important to allow clients an opportunity to add anything that may have been important parts that you missed in the summary. Reflecting feelings as a professional counselor can help the client become aware of emotions experienced in relation to the issue at hand. Reflecting feelings can promote the development of accurate empathy and help to create a safe environment for the client. To reflect feelings, one must be able to recognize and put words to those feeling states observed in the client. To help aid in identifying the client's feelings and attaching feelings to what the content that the client is saying, we need to pay attention to the affective component of the client's communication. That's how they are communicating to us. They may be emphasizing some words or getting emotional when they talk about certain things. As we listen to clients, we can name the client's feelings in our head that we feel like they are trying to describe. And then when we reflect that back to the client, we use an appropriate introductory phrase, such as, "It sounds like you're experiencing disappointment. I hear you saying that you're disappointed about how your partner reacted." This means that we were paying attention to what they were saying and we're trying to help them attach a feeling word to their statements. Using an appropriate introductory phrase is a way of not projecting a feeling onto the client and making them feel like you're understanding their feelings better than they are. Counselors ask questions for a variety of reasons. It's important that we always have some intention in the questions that we're asking. We have some purpose. Questions are used to open conversation, to show interest and concern in what the client is saying, to gather information and obtain details, to clarify statements, behaviors, and feelings, and focus and redirect the counseling process when needed. Questioning is a primary skill that allows professional counselors to gather important and specific information about clients. It allows us to make accurate assessments of the client's issues and guide and focus our clients so we can make the most effective use of the session. Used inappropriately, questioning can impede communication and block client disclosure. For example, interrogating clients or rapid firing questions at them so they feel pressured and often don't know which question to respond to. There are two different types of questions, open and closed. Open questions usually elicit fuller and more meaningful responses by encouraging the client to talk at greater length. Open questions typically begin with what, how, could, would, or why, and are used to help begin an interview, to help elaborate the client's story, and bring out specific details. With open questions, the client can choose the content and direction of the session. Be careful of using why questions, and questions that are leading in nature. Questions that begin with why often cause the client to intellectualize and can lead to a discussion of reasons instead of thoughts and feelings. It can also cause a client to begin to rationalize or intellectualize their problems when what we really want is for them to explore the deeper meaning and feelings behind their issues. Finally, why questions can cause the client to become defensive and to feel put on the spot. We also want to avoid asking leading questions that contain a hidden agenda. Leading questions often have some type of expectation that there is an answer embedded within the question. Although well-intentioned, these types of questions can place too much power into the hands of the professional counselor and push the client into a preconceived direction where they lose their sense of autonomy. Closed questions can be used when professional counselors need to obtain very specific, concrete information and get all of the facts straight. Closed questions typically elicit either a yes or no type of response or provide specific, factual information. The use of too many closed questions can cause the client to shut down and become passive because, in essence, you are training the client to simply sit back and wait for the next question. Remember, all of our micro-counseling skills are important in providing a safe and comfortable environment for the client to explore all aspects of their life. Clients typically come in with specific problems, but often don't realize that it may be impacting one or more areas of their lives. A requirement for being an effective counselor is being able to practice and impart the skill of empathy in the counseling relationship. Being empathetic is the foundation of what we do, and it ensures that you are listening and dealing with the client's concerns as they present. When your empathetic responses have been successful, it is evident from the client's response, a nod of the head or positive verbal response. If your empathetic responses have not been accurate, the client will indicate this non-verbally by stopping or becoming frustrated. Being aware of these signs will assist you in relating to a client. You may need to just adjust your approach if the client is not responding to you. But by using empathy in your interactions with clients and in conjunction with all of your micro-counseling skills, you'll be able to build the relationship with the client, stimulate self-exploration, check your understanding of the issue, provide support, assist in communication, and focus attention on the client.